I'm Judy Shaw for NYSE Floor Talk. Joining me today is Raul Jacob. He is the CFO of Southern Copper. Hi, Raul. It's great to see you.
Hi, how are you, Judy?
Wonderful. Now, thank you for joining me. And before we get started, I just want to let our viewers know that this interview is for informational purposes only. The NYSE doesn't recommend any investments or investment strategies. Now, Raul, tell me about Southern Copper. What are its major characteristics and strengths?
Thank you very much, and I'm glad to be with you today, Judy, and all. Well, this is our company. It's mainly a copper producer. Over 80% of our sales are coming from this metal. This year, we're expecting to produce a little bit less than 1 million tons of copper, and our sales are expected to be $7.6 billion. And of those, we expect to have an EBITDA of $3.7 billion. That's about 50% of EBITDA for this year. Our company has one of the lowest, if not the lowest, cash cost of companies of this size in the copper environment. For this year, we're expecting to have a cash cost of 70 cents per pound. Just to give you an idea, today copper was a little bit north of $3.50, and we're producing it at 70 cents. The company owns properties that compose the highest reserve base for copper worldwide. And we are an integrated producer with operations in Mexico and Peru.
All right, now, Raul, we are in the middle of a pandemic. How was your company, fighting this pandemic?
Well, since the very beginning, we put in place a very aggressive program for maintaining our operations and our people on the safest possible situation. And for that, at the very beginning, we operated with a reduced workforce. I should say that these are very capital-intensive operations, and several tasks are usually done isolated. For instance, one of these big truck mines that we operate require just one person. So, generally speaking, several actions are by people that is separated, keeping social distance in place. But on top of that, we did quite a few changes in our protocols. And that allow us to produce mineral and maintain our production level at a reasonable level, while maintaining as well the health and well-being of our workforce. Now we have about a little bit more than 80% of our workforce is back on the premises, and we're slowly restoring our operations at full. At this point, we are expecting to produce, as I'd say, almost 1 million tons of copper for the year, which is our current capacity of production. We made a significant contribution to the nearby communities, helping them to have a proper protection equipment, as well as medical supplies to fight the pandemic.
Okay, now Raul, what are your expectations for increasing copper production in the coming months?
Actually, it's going to be in the next few years. We're in the copper market for the long view. The company was formed in 1956, and we have, as I'd say, we're producing a little bit less than 1 million tons. For the next few years, we expect to end this decade increasing our production by 80%, so reaching 1.8 million tons with organic growth projects that are fully owned by the company. Just as a reference, 10 years ago, we were producing less than half of what we're producing today. So we not only have these plans, but we have also a track record that shows that we are moving forward with these projects and developing them as we move on over time.
All right, and finally, Raul, why do you think investors should look at your company as a good investment opportunity?
Well, we believe that we are the pure copper play of our industry. We have been growing organically. We have plans to increase our production by 80%, moving from 1 million tons, which is our current production capacity, to 1.8 million tons by the end of this decade. We will do that keeping the company characteristic of being a very low cost and having a very strong financial position. We will develop these projects that I mentioned through a flexible financial structure. We will be quite sure that we will be developing the projects, keeping the characteristic of being under budget and on time, as we have pretty much done with all the projects that we have developed in the last few years. This is something that it's key for us. It's important that, and we believe that the company will keep maintaining its reward to our shareholders through dividends. We have been paying dividends at about $1.60 per share the last few years. This year is going to be a little bit lower, $1.50, because we reduced our dividend when the COVID pandemic initiated. But when we saw that we were able to create the same value that we were generating in some other times, the board actually decided to increase it to its actual level.
All right, Raul, it's been wonderful to talk with you. Thanks for joining me on NYSE Floor Talk.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be with you. I'm happy to answer all your questions.